So, guys, welcome to my Minecraft world. And in today's videos, I'm going to be talking about how do you build these kind of buildings that you see behind me, and how do I, as a casual player, kind of what? Uh, there you go. How do I, as a casual Minecraft player, can kind of build these things, and how can you learn from what I've done, and maybe it's for me to learn from you guys too if you guys have any cool building tips and tricks. But a little bit of introduction um, about me and about these kind of videos. This is going to be kind of unedited playthrough, or not playthrough, just yap through of this. In this episode is about building like this. But about me, my name is Brett. You can also call me Chip. That is this. Yeah, Chip. I'm 22 years old. I'm in the Netherlands working as a model, and I'm also just graduated from university, so I'm also looking for a job. So right now I do have quite a lot of times on my hand. I use them to tackle my side business and some project on the side, but for the rest of the time, I really do enjoy playing Minecraft, right? So I've started playing Minecraft like 4 months ago, and so this is what I'm building now. But if you were to go back in time, if you look at that, if you were to go back in time, here's how it all started out, right? So there's a YouTuber that I really like, and his name is like this. Yeah, we call him Mod, and I really like his world. I like the theme of it. I like the editing style, whatever. And I would like to have some of his building in my world, and that's how it started out, right? And this is, by the way, this is like a creative copy of my survival world. So I just like copy, like just literally just copy paste his builds, his builds in, and I did that for this building, that building, that building, a lot of buildings, and up until a certain point, I realized that, oh shoot, I don't have any ownership of what is going around here. The town that I'm walking in, actually talking about this town, it would be a bit better at night, yeah. Or even so I realized that I do not have any ownership of what's happening here, you know. And then that's when I said, okay, I need to build something myself, and that's when I start with this building. And you can see what I did then is that basically I see, okay, here's how, here's the way he did this kind of frame. I want to do that too. So I just copy and paste, a little bit of remixing here and there, not much, but which turned into this building, which at that time I was very happy for. Despite the fact that this is a really simple building, serves no purpose whatsoever. The second floor is not even accessible, but I really like how it turned out, right? And you learn some cool techniques as you watch YouTube or scroll on Pinterest or whatever. I kind of figured out the way to use spruce trapdoor, or this kind of trapdoors, to make this kind of window. Okay, the rain start to bother me a bit, so I'm gonna oh okay, I'm gonna make it day again. Okay, sorry. But yeah, that's how I started, and then I started going to this building over here, which you see the same formula of window, you see the same kind of framing. This one, I basically copied this from his build over here, which I don't know. It looks great for that time, but it kind of keep on bugging me, like, yeah, I did created this, but what I've done is just kind of copying what other people do. I do not give any thoughts into, you know, into the creating process, or not as much. Even though I was quite happy with how the this kind of lake turned out to be in this backyard, but I don't really like the building itself. I mean, at that time I was quite happy, but you do see the kind of patterns that being used here. You find something that you like, and then you kind of copy it, you know, which I think is how you start it, absolutely. And then I think, okay, I need to do something different, right? Because my creativity doesn't lead me that far. It left me with that building and that building over there. So was not so happy about that. So I go on internet and I found out about this town which is named Kawakoe. Kawakoe? Koe? Oh. So basically it is kind of like a storage, not a town, it's like a storage street in Japan that have a lot of Edo age buildings, I think. So I took a picture from Pinterest or Google or Maps, whatever, I don't remember. But then I kind of replicated here, and here's where you see a bit more interesting stuff going on. So you can see it's kind of like old convenience store of some sort. You would have like I have like a villager trap here. And then you see this kind of cool details you learn from YouTube. Kind of like, you know, you can implement it into your builds. But I really do like the way of, you know, you get to utilize all of the blocks, and this is just a little bit of a storage system, not system, just a storage place. I mean, I think that they would store some stuff here. And up here, this is where I kind of take my own creativity and build this kind of restaurant upwards. And I really like it. I think this turned out nicely. This is the first time I've kind of, you know, try things out myself. I like how it looks. I like the way I use the bookshelf for the floor. I really like to use different blocks for the floor. It's really fun. I think you guys should too. It's really fun. But that's where it started. But as I do that, I kind of move on to a new house, and I realize that, oh shit, everything looked the same. I mean, in reality, in that street that we're talking about, everything does kind of look the same. But these builds doesn't have any, how do I say, doesn't have any personality to it, you know? So I decided to stop with this build over here. I was like, this is boring. And then I kind of move away from that town and move into this part here, where I first created this. I don't even want to talk about this. It's quite shit. This is, I think, based on a real house, but it doesn't have. It feels like it doesn't belong here. You know what I mean? So it's meant to be like a storage room with a lot of storage unit in it, but as I go through it, I don't feel like it fit with the vibe. But I already built it in my survival world, so that's whatever. But also here is where I really start trying. So I basically go in Google Map. I found this cool town, which you can see the location is here. This is a real house in real life, by the way. So I think, okay, in creative mode, how can I, to my best extent, copy that house? Right, so you went from copy other people's build to copy something in real life, which I think is much more acceptable because you can call them reference. but here I did learn a few techniques, which I think is also from Mod in his word, that he used bookshelf as windows and this. So I think, wow, that's kind of cool. I'm gonna copy it over here, and this is less, how do I say, like you put thoughts into this, into how this would look like, you know. So this could be like a sliding window that you can shut or whatever. Yeah, but creating this have brought me a lot of, how do you say, enjoyment at that time. I'm really happy to see how this turned out. But I did have one problem with that, is that the block palette for this was too much, or not even the block palette, it's just like too much accessory, if you see it on the background, which make the, well, now it's not that much, but it kind of did make like the creating process a bit, oh no, the harvesting process of all these items a bit annoying per se. But these two houses turned out to be great, even though I really dislike how I use diorite and calcite here. I really don't know. I really don't know how to texture these two. I was terrible at it, but yeah, I'm quite happy. This is meant to be like a bell or a phone, whatever, you know. And this, I don't know what this is. Just putting stuff here and there. And of course some kind of things to fill in the space, and the back is where I'm also happy with. It looks nice, it looks authentic, it looks faithful to what is communicated in the, I mean not communicated, what is there in real life, you know. And oh my goodness, the shader is Eclipse Unstable, and it makes the water look so good. You have to download this from GitHub, I believe. And then I go on Pinterest, and the thing with real life houses is that it's quite hard to replicate, you know, because there's all these liveliness in it, there's all these kind of, you know, factors that make it feel alive, but at the same time it's going to be very hard, you know, to sort of begin. So I think for these, while this one look a lot realistic, I kind of like this one more. And this is when I start using people's, you know, on Pinterest, a lot of artists, modeling artists who create house or assets, you know, for maybe for gaming, for illustration or whatever. And I did stumble across a few nice ones, like this one for example. I'll make sure to put everything in the description. But yeah, because these houses that people made on Pinterest, or I mean posted on Pinterest, is much more simpler to sort of start, and there you can experiment with a lot. For example, if you turn off this, like you can see how the blocks is being used to sort of create like an effect there, maybe a shadow or a sense of this house being a bit exposed, you know. And if we turn the shader back on, look a bit less pronounced, but that's fine. You see that get a lot of, now everything look nicer, you know, because before this window kind of looked out of place, because what is a window here and then what is this here, right? But then here you see a more consistent way of using windows, and there's something to support it, which I think is nice. And here you see the way of me using trapdoors. It is still there, but it is being enforced by having this thing up, like kind of protrude out to make it look, because if I sort of remove this, right, it would look really boring. If I also even remove this, like look how terrible that is. But if you actually put that, oh, ow, 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 I always forgot to turn off that mod, which is really annoying. Okay, so for example, if you just, oh, there, put that back there, and if you put that back there, and then if you do this, okay, suddenly there's a lot more sort of not personalities. There's a lot more depth to it, and I think that's look a lot nicer. And this is, you see this kind of patterns of creating depth all throughout the builds later on. You see I use this to create depth, I push the window back in to create more depth, I use an alternating oak shelf which is powered by a lever to kind of modify this, the state of the shelf. I like this one more, look better. But you see, all of these things, yeah, you could say that it is all about creating depth or whatever. And this is kind of like a sewer of some sort, whatever. I have no clue. Yeah, I think I really like how this turned. Oh, I forgot about putting these two here. But one thing is about this is that it kind of like these iron bar kind of look like you're in captivity, you know. It doesn't look like real window, which I do have tips on how to make it look a bit more realistic or make it feel less captive. Later I'll show you. But yeah, another nice, I think furnace. I don't know if people are using it, but if you don't, then you should be using furnace. Look really good along with some tall grass. And then if you go over here, this is an interesting case, okay? Because on the screenshot on Pinterest, oh no, not screenshot. This is actually a picture of some place in real life, but it was from this corner specifically, I think, and it tell you something, but it doesn't tell you the whole story, right? So that is, I think that is also a really good spot to learn from, because it gives you something to work off of, but it also forces you into create or use your creativity a bit. So what I did is that I see this kind of, you know, this kind of fence, I used to call this barrier. These fans going up there, so I assume that there is a second floor, and to which I make, like, you know, a way up here, and then here could be. This is so cool. The light is I love this, dude. Like, this is such a problem, bro. Okay. Anyway, yeah, this is so cool. I really like that. I really like how that looked. But yeah, and then I love this part of the building so much. It feels so complex, but I don't know, simple but complex, because it is one building, but two, but one, but three, you know, because this is one, and this is another one, and maybe this is another one. This one I intend to turn it into cabin, but honestly, like a small cabin or whatever, you know, with a bed. But I have not experimented a lot. I've not yeah, I've experimented a lot with sort of interior design, so I kind of leave it there. But this one, for example, you don't have to always create depth. Sometimes it's meant to be open, and there is depth in itself. But if you close it from apart, like, it doesn't look bad, right? I also do like the use of this too. Look like makes sense. Now you can do this, but I feel like having like not the handle, like this rock part up here would make more sense than being here. So that's what I did, kind of go down. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this house turned out, and this is where I learned to properly texturing everything. And again, I do not go off of a shadow because I really don't know how to texture according to shadow, but I kind of did it based on, I don't know, maybe the house is exposed here. Yeah, I really don't know. Maybe you guys can tell a better story about this than me. But then moving off of those houses, this is what I really love. I love this house so much, this house specifically. From the front, it looks really good, at least to my liking. So again, this is some illustration from some artists on Pinterest that I have adapted to my own style. Of course, the house doesn't look identical to this, but that's how you grow. You kind of turn it into your own, and you do see this kind of pattern, you know, being repeated a lot. And I do like that though, because if you found out a pattern of doors or whatever that work for you, or a building technique that work for you, then don't be shy to repeat it. That's what I did here, and I really like how this turned out. I really like to use the wall as like a support layer, or kind of like a frame or an outline to sort of frame your building, you know. Now it look very clear there's two sections, but if you were to say, if you were to do this, oh my goodness, if you were to do this, yeah, look a lot less appealing. You know what I mean? Like, it's lacking something. It's lacking some division there. So that's what I do. And Wait, no, 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 no. No. Yes, sir. Yeah, so that's what I do. Add that, so sort of like having like an outline or whatever. And talking about the bars, right? I told you that they, like, it felt like we are in captivity, and the way I kind of defeat that is kind of like to, instead of breaking it, I mean, instead of replacing it, or I mean, we can still use it, but instead of putting it all like this, you can just simply, not there, break it on one side, and it's look like it is, how do I say, like you are actually opening this window, you know? Let me just put that thing back up here, and it actually looked like this guy is not like a prisoner or something. And here I also added like a funny automatic door, not automatic, but it's like a garage door, you know, which is really simple. It's powered like this kind of lever would power these three things, which if you flick on it, it will trigger these three trapdoors. And this thing also linked to this redstone wire here, which will activate the sticky piston here. And what the sticky piston do is that it push these windows down, right? But what make these, oh no, put this trapdoor down. But what make the trapdoor extend or like open is there is like a few redstone torch here that kind of power this. So if this thing touch here, it will automatically be open. So it's cool. It's pretty cool. I like it. A little bit of redstone here and there. Also, the floor plan seems to be a lot more interesting because since this build is divided into two, you have like yeah, you have like a whatever area this is, maybe a kitchen, some hanging closets or whatever when you first came in, and here's like your living room, you know, here's where you live, and then here's sort of like your bedrooms, and maybe we can set up 2 more bedrooms here to to sort of rent sort of rent out to other people. I mean, that's how it goes here in the Netherlands. I have a housing crisis, yeah. But I don't know if this part makes sense, but it's look cool, so whatever. But you know, the floor plans suddenly become a lot more interesting. There's one here, one here, one here, that's all connected, and there's a top as well. And that is the thing with the roof, right? The bigger the roof is, the more room you have to create like the Arctic. Which over there, I have to touch on this a bit, because I do quite like this kind of roof where it's kind of slowly, how do I say, exponentially, you know what I mean, like you start out with slab, and then you go upstairs to kind of create this kind of slope, you know. I really like it, but I do want to break free from that to see how it would look, and that's how I come to this. Don't like that, but I think it's better than forcing it like that every time. And also, this is the kind of roof that I really like. Just down and down. I really like it. Here is also the same case with this. I think it's from the same artist. As you can see, the vibe of the house is quite similar. I don't know, but here I have like copper chest, so that I can have like a copper golem working at my slave, and he'll just be walking up here and put stuff in this chest, which would go through the hopper and down again. I think it's pretty fun. But this house is quite simple. I don't like the design I have here. In the survival world, I add like a little Arctics here. Arctic? Yeah. But basically, the point is that you go from copy others people Minecraft builds into real life, into, you know, illustration or whatever, and there you get to experiment so much, you know. And here's what I come, you know, by myself, taking all of those elements together. I created this myself before there was this. The reason I added that, I'll tell you shortly. But basically, you know, you get the elements from elsewhere, like this wall design. is from it's just my habits. This is a kitchen. There's nothing much. It's just a vending machine. You get like this chair design. Oh, but okay. This build make a lot more sense if it's raining. Okay. So if it is actually raining, you see the sky become darker, and you see why um, the light makes sense. Because if I were to, like, you have to really try stuff, right? Because if you put this light here, which is what I try to do, um, oh, nothing like that. No. Okay, so if you put this light here, it's feel like there's not enough light for the people inside to work properly, you know. So that's why I didn't put that door there, but rather I put like a lantern, you know. And I think it would fit the vibe well. And in the back or in the outside of it, I wanted to feel like a bit darker because that's how like most of these kickstand is. So I had like a dimmer source of light. Yeah. So now you see inside is really bright, but outdoor is really not that bright. Yeah. So that would look a bit more realistic. But that's kind of like the thing that you have to try it out to see. And wait. And here as well, because the roof normally you see it's just a straight down roof like this, but I decided to add a bit more stories or kind of like a bit more how do I say, structure, I don't know, a bit mess into it, and then you kind of push the roof backward a bit. I don't know, it looks cool. Maybe you can even expand this part out a bit. Don't know if that would make sense. Would make sense if you add like some, I think, yeah, maybe you can add like maybe this can be like the queuing line where people but that would not make sense because the service desk is over here, so people would queue to go straight into the into the kitchen. That would not make sense. But you know, you can make so that this is a queuing line, and then you can order stuff here, whatever. That's actually a nice idea. Maybe I would reverse this or put the thing over here. So yeah, I think that would make sense. And you know, but also you gotta think a bit more. How do I say? Logically. For example, this is a nice house, but if nighttime come, if the shift is over, how do you close this place? Is this place gonna remain open forever? So that's why you see this at the beginning, kind of like, yeah. So you make it look like that it is a door that you can just drag over here to close it or drag it back. You know, that is a real design in Vietnamese homes. I'm pretty sure there's somewhere in Asian countries too. But yeah, add a bit of life into it. Add a bit of reasoning, and I think it's become. I mean, this is not really something really big, you know. But of course, the back there's no design here. But I really like how this has turned out. Wait a minute, check the method. Yeah, so I really like how this has turned out. It's just a small decorative piece, but it adds life into the, you know, add life into the town. And I have Farmer Delight, so I don't know if you have ramens or noodles. We do have noodles. I think this we can. Oh, you cannot. I think you can sushi. Yeah, you can kind of like put this down, you know. So it's that is for farmers delight. But basically, yeah, I think the point. Okay, to conclude everything that I've like reasoned. So much. Take inspiration. Okay, take inspiration whether or not that is from real life, that's from illustration, from what these people have built. Just take inspiration from there. First, you can just copy it, but try to sort of like use it to make it your own, and really try to experiment spending time in creative, because before I really didn't like to spend time in creative, but that was a turning point for me, and suddenly I really like to just stay in creative and, you know, just yeah, just look how it turns out, and then bring that back into survival, which I don't like. I don't like light here, because at night I feel like everybody should go to sleep. So what I will do is that I will be adding some, I think, I've never used this, let's try it out. But what we can do is, oof, I'm not sure about this light. Not sure. We can try is, this would look cool, but this, I mean, like, this is kind of like the safe, you know, it's kind of orange yellowish. So adding a bit of that would make more sense than adding a random light here, and then in here it could be your own lights or whatever. But the light should not be emitting outside to the street. Maybe just a little bit, for example, if you have like something here. Yeah, maybe like that. Like it's gonna emit a bit of light there to let people know that there's people inside the house, but not really bright up the street. That is the mission of these kind of lamps. And if we can just stack it up, no, not stack, I just want to close. Yeah, so you can just basically copy paste this thing, and then, oh, there is light, let there be light, and there's light. And you can also put it, for example, here. Ooh, and now the street become a lot nicer, I believe. But the sky is still a bit dark, so what if we make it rain? Oh my goodness, I am loving this. I am loving this feeling. Suddenly you cannot see anything anymore, but just look at this feeling, walking through here after a long day of working, and then you go into your favorite ramen shop just to realize that no one is there. So you go back home. My home would be not this one, would be this one. This is my home. Going to this home. Someone's forgot to turn off the stove, so you turn that off. You go upstairs. You look into the sea, whatever, and then you go into your room. Oh, it's really dark in here. And then it's just, and then you wake up. Yeah, it's a new day, brand new day. And then you are, it's still raining. Wow, but look at this part of the, so gorgeous. Okay guys, I think that would be it. Thank you so much if you stay to the end of the video. Really I'm grateful for this. I would be doing more, hopefully. Please tell me what you would like to see. If you would like to see me build a new building, we can make that into a YouTube short. I mean, not a YouTube short, a YouTube video. But, or we can also, you know, just do all the fun stuff. But please let me know in the comments. Also, with everything, because this is my first time, right? So if you do prefer me to speak in a different way, if there's a different tone, if you want me to be more upbeat, if you want me to be more calm, just let me know what do you think would be suitable. And yeah, I would love to hear your feedback and your suggestion as well, because right now I'm at I really don't know what to build, so maybe just give me some pictures or some idea, whatever. But yeah, this is a great way, and I'll be doing it until I get a full-time job, which I think will hopefully hopefully soon, right? But even though I think I would like to do it, you know, more besides just this time. Oh my goodness, the shader is so good. If I had more money, I would buy a different, what do they call it? The 2060, like Nvidia, whatever. I don't know what those are called. I will buy one so that my FPS is actually higher. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a nice rest of the day wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Be kind to people, and be kind to yourself as well. Okay. Yeah. So see you guys in. Oh well. See you guys next time. Bye bye. Bye bye. Sayonara. 안녕히 계세요. 땀빅. Okay. Bye bye.